Hello, welcome to Board with Paint. Today I'll be unboxing Divinity Original Sin, the board game. This is a Kickstarter project that launched in 2019 and has met with many delays over the years, but it's finally showing up in backers' hands. This is the all-in pledge level, and given that they redesigned the game from scratch a few times along the way, I'm not really sure what's even going to be in here. So let's find out together, shall we? So underneath this initial piece of foam, we've got two of the expansion items. Looks like the miniature upgrade set, part 2. Nightmare Dungeon expansion in this white box. Not sure what's in here. Definitely a lot of foam in this box. I'm pretty impressed with how well packed everything is so far. Then we have the Haunted Keep expansion underneath that piece, followed by the Nemesis expansion. Here we have the first of the big boxes. This is the part 1 of the miniature upgrade set. That is fairly heavy and big. More packing, and finally the base game down in the bottom of the box. Here's a look at everything in its glory. First thing I'm going to look at is this nondescript white box here. I'm not really sure what to expect. Well, it looks like we have the upgraded bags. These are the leather bags that you could add on to your pledge. Then we have the metal coins, an extra bag of dice, and that's it. We'll take a look at these metal coins here. Well, they're definitely metal. They jingle very satisfactorily in the hand. There's a look at some of them up close. Now look at these bag upgrades. I'm not sure if this is real leather or faux leather, but it feels very durable while still being flexible. And then we also have a red one. This is the same material, same quality. Pretty nice. Now let's cut open the base game and see what's inside. Well, the first thing I notice is I'm supposed to stop. If I understand correctly, there's a tutorial that you can play through that uses a limited number of components and introduces you to the game without you having to unpack the whole thing. Here's the rulebook. We'll leaf through this a little bit. Another stop sign here. We've got 52 pages, so this is a pretty hefty rulebook, if you ask me. And then, of course, you got the reference page on the back. Next in the box, we have this board, which has an interlude and merchant on one side. And let me zoom out a little so we can see this whole thing. I think this is a time tracker and has something to do with initiative. Then we have what appear to be player reference cards. These are folded in half, so there's a lot of information on them. There are 4 of them total. So you should be able to hand one to each of your players. Then we have this card holder of some kind. I'm not quite sure what this is for. Then we have the Divine Atlas, which is a pretty hefty book. This will essentially serve as the game board while you're playing. Then we have the boss book, which I think is similar to that. Some punch boards with cardboard coins, looks like some dials, and other types of tokens for status effects. Then the inner tray has a plastic molded cover, and we reveal the miniatures. And then in bags we have, I think those are hardware for the dials, little standees for cardboard somethings, some wooden tokens, that's a time tracker, and the green tokens are for something else. Another bag of dice here. Then this is more hardware for the dials, I believe. And we have the cloth bags. These are still not too bad compared to the other ones. Let me grab the other ones real quick. Bags are about the same size. I do like the leather ones better, obviously. Then we have some more cardboard bits to pull out here. These are player boards, I believe. So you'll track your inventory, and I think you're leveling up. Logo on the back. There are 4 of these as well. Then we have another board for tracking stuff. These have little indentations on them as well. This is where those wooden green tokens go, I'm assuming. Then we have these small boards, look like they can hold a card. I believe these are intended to be used for tracking information about enemies. We have A through F, and then G is reserved for a boss. I don't know if that's going to be significant in some way. Then we have a couple of packs of cards here for the tutorial. And then some smaller cards over here. I'm actually not going to go through the individual cards like I've done in other unboxings because I don't really want to spoil anything for you all. So I'll just show you the prepackaged cards. I'll pull this tray out, and there's more underneath. We have another stop sign, something called the Hall of Echoes. I don't know what this is, but I will heed the warning and not open it. Then another stop sign with more components underneath that is instructing us not to go through this stuff until after we finish the tutorial. Got some nice artwork on the back there. I think I'm going to go through it anyway, just to show you. We have another punch board with a lot more tokens on it. And a piece of protective foam underneath that. And then another boatload of cards. Again, don't want to spoil, so I won't show you those. But I will show you each miniature. Here is a little baby kitty cat. Next up is Sebel. She's one of the heroes. I'm probably going to butcher these names because I haven't played the video game very much. This is Farzana. Cassian. Los or Lose, I don't know how you pronounce it. By the way, these all have the Divinity logo on the bottom sculpted on here with the copyright notice. That's a neat little addition. Then we have the crossbow guy. This is Ifan or Ifan, something like that. Then we have Beast. Pretty sure I pronounced that right. One of the undead, this is Vali or Valai. And the other undead is Fane. Here's the Red Prince, Lizard Man. And finally, Tangwistle. Those are all the miniatures that you get in the base game, so you don't get any more unless you get the miniature expansion or the small box expansions. Now let's open this big boy. We have some introductory material. It's spiral bound, so you can lay it flat, which is nice. You'll be doing that a lot playing the game. We've got a tutorial section here. And I guess the tutorial section starts here. Then we go into some locations. Here's the torture chamber. Hopefully this isn't a spoiler because this is part of the tutorial, but this is what you'll actually be playing the game on. Then we have the lower hold. I'm not going to go much further than this because, again, no spoilers. And the back of the book, we have an overview map and a ribbon for use as a bookmark. And the boss book, this might be spoilery, so skip ahead if you don't want to see any of the bosses. Here's Magister Captain Evandris. I won't show you all of them again, I'll just show you a few. Here's Geist. I just wanted to take a second here to show you how thick this box is. This is about twice as thick as other board game boxes I've seen, so that's pretty cool. Let's open the miniatures upgrade set now, shall we? Opening this up, we've got another really thick box. Holy cow, what is that? Okay, I really hesitate to call that thing a miniature. That is huge. Well, let's unpack it, see what else we got. We'll pull this smaller tray out. There's another one underneath it. And nothing underneath that big one. All right, taking a look at the miniatures. Here are the tentacles for the Kraken. There's 2 different sculpts, but there's 4 miniatures total. These are pretty big themselves. Of course, nothing compared to that dragon, but we'll save that for last. There are 4 chickens in the set. Here's one of them. Here we have Khalifa. That's the best I can do, sorry. This is the Source Tiger. Very, very detailed and textured. Very nice. Here's Sir Laura. The Incarnate. I think this is just another Incarnate in an alternate sculpt. It's slightly different. This one is Brachus Rex. Malady. and the Nightmare Lizard. Here's the Bone Widow. You can see in the middle there's a big fat support. I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish they'd have just put the legs on the ground and had it supported more, but it is what it is. Here's the big old ice rhino. Here's one of the human-sized miniatures, just so you can get a size comparison. Then we have this thing that I don't know where the front is. According to my records, this is a shambling oak. Yeah. Yeah. Here we have the head of the Kraken. This is a very chunky miniature. Again, I'm not so sure we can call it a miniature. Look how big it is next to a human. Here's Venom Wing. And then there are 4 barrels, each of them with a symbol on it. They all have the same sculpt on the outside, though. And finally, Slane, the Winter Dragon. I will dramatically zoom out here. This thing is maybe the largest miniature I currently own now. I believe this is larger than the Kingdom Death Monster Phoenix and larger than the Imperial Assault Rancor. So it's pretty big. Let me grab one of the human-sized figures and show you just how big it is. Give you some scale here. That's impressive for sure. Now for part 2 of the miniatures upgrade set, this will be a little underwhelming since we've already seen the dragon, but for completeness sake, we'll take a look. Here we have 7 miniatures in the box. Here we have the Cheese Merchant. We got Hammer Time Dallas. Magister Captain Evandris. Here's a ghoul. Here's Darkhan, looking impatient for this video to finish. This is Geist. Here's the Crypt Guardian. He's a pretty big boy. And that's the last miniature in the miniature upgrade set. Now we'll move on to the expansions, starting with the Nightmare Dungeon, because it's the smallest box. All right, right inside we have the rulebook. And we've got a merchant card, some kind of reference, and an end of encounter card. So I guess there's some rule changes here. Then we have some kind of tally sheet for keeping track of enemies. Way more than you'll probably ever need. And we have a couple packs of 2 different sized cards. Again, I'm not going to show you individual cards to avoid spoilers. And that's it for Nightmare Mode. Now on to the Nemesis Expansion, which is a quest expansion. Cut into this here without cutting my finger off, hopefully. And surprisingly enough, there's a rulebook on top. And yet another stop sign. Next up, we've got these card holders. There's Contract on one side and Nemesis on the other. Then we've got some more cardboard punches, followed by some actual game boards. One, there's two, there's three, and then we've got some stuff underneath. Looks like cards and a miniature. We have these larger cards, smaller cards underneath. And medium-sized cards. And it comes with this miniature, which I believe is called Adramahlihk, something like that. I'll unfold some of these boards. You may consider this spoilers, so skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to see this. So it looks like there's an encounter board for that boss, Adramahlihk. And then we have what just looks like this sort of stuff that's in the Divine Atlas book. So these are boards that you'll play on for different scenarios. That's it for the Nemesis expansion. Now we'll take a look at Haunted Keep. This is another quest expansion, so it should have the same sort of stuff in it as the previous one. And of course, there are rules. And we have another stop sign. Have some more card containers, hexes, and Haunted Keep. A cardboard punch board. And some more location boards, I believe. Along with what's going to be a boss board for the boss that's included in this. But we'll get to that. Got a set of cards here. These are the larger cards, and then we have the sort of medium-sized standard deck of cards, and then little mini cards, handful of those. This boss is the Deathfog Chimera, or Chimera. Pronounce that however you like. And then location boards. And finally, the board for the boss, the Deathfog Chimera. And that's it for Divinity Original Sin. Thank you all for watching. I'm planning on doing a miniature painting series on this game, where I use only the paints that were included in the paint set that came with the Kickstarter. So keep your eyes open for that, and subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified when that happens. You can also follow me at Board with Paint on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where I'll sometimes post photos and notes of things that I'm working on. And finally, I'd like to hear from all of you. Let me know what you like about this channel, what you don't like, stuff you'd like to see me do next. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.